Today on the newscast, did Iran just launch a missile attack on Israel? Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, welcome to the newscast. We've got some potentially very big breaking news for you today out of Russia, where it appears that Iranian missiles may have struck Israel. Now before we get into it, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. We're coming to you every day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekend depending on the news cycle. And we would love to have you join us here as watchmen and women on the wall for such a time as this. Okay, let's get into it. It is early. It is March 7th, 2023, and we're getting reports that sirens have gone off in the Tel Aviv area and also the northern city of Haifa. Now that certainly is not normal. Usually when sirens go off in Israel, it's because incoming rockets are heading their way. But no rockets were fired according to Israeli media from Gaza or Lebanon or Syria. So the question is, what is going on here? Where are these sirens coming from? Well, it looks like we may have an answer now. The Israel Defense Forces have released a statement saying an attack was carried out by Iranian forces against Israel. Now, the IDF says they intercepted most of those missiles, but apparently some did break through and did strike targets in central Israel, including Tel Aviv. And right now, the Home Front Command has declared a state of emergency in the center and north regions of Israel. They are calling on the residents in those areas to immediately go to bomb shelters. Also, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is currently visiting Greece, has cut his visit short and he is heading back to Israel. Clearly a major story here. This developing, folks. We'll bring you the latest as we learn more. But let me throw up the map real quick and show you what we're talking about here. Number 1, these sirens going off in the city of Tel Aviv. Clearly one of the most densely populated areas in Israel with hundreds of thousands of Israelis living there. It is the economic and financial capital of Israel. You also had it reportedly in the northern city of Haifa, so we're talking about two major cities in Israel, very close together. But then no. 3. And this is the key thing I think for our viewers to understand. In between Tel Aviv and Haifa is an area called the Sharon Plain. This is a large swath of land that runs basically from north to south, pretty much the entire length of the coastal region of Israel. And this is where Israel's Ben Gurion International Airport is located. Many of our staff here at the Watchmen Newscast have flown into that airport many times over the years, so keep that in your prayers. People are trying to get in and out of Israel right now. This could be disrupted. So that's the backdrop. And if you look at this is an area that is highly populated. There are Israeli communities here that are, relatively speaking, lightly protected because in the past, Israel hasn't really felt that they needed to build up defenses along the coast because Hamas, Hezbollah, those Iranian proxies to the south and north respectively, have not really targeted the coastal areas of Israel in the past. Of course, that does not mean that they wouldn't in the future, but it means that Israel has spread its resources around to other areas where it feels the greatest threat, like to the east in the Golan Heights along the Syrian border, to the south in Gaza, and also to the northeast along the Syrian border as well. So it may very well be that Iranian forces feel that this is a vulnerable area, that Israel has spread its forces too thin, and they decided to launch an attack here. That remains to be seen. Folks, needless to say, when I woke up this morning and got on my computer and saw this developing, thought, wow, this is a big deal. I mean, if Iran is actually carrying out missile attacks against Israel, and remember, Iran and its proxies have threatened to do this many times, but this would be the first time that Iran itself has launched missiles at Israel. So we're keeping a very close eye on this. Certainly a developing story. We will bring you updates in the days to come. But right now I think it's important to mention a few things. No. 1. Why would Iran do this? Well, the obvious answer is, hey, this is payback for Israel's supposed airstrikes inside of Iran over the past few months. Remember, we've had 2 nuclear scientists inside of Iran who mysteriously died under suspicious circumstances. Now, Israel is not saying anything. Iran is saying that Israel is behind this. So that's number 1. No, this is also part of a tit-for-tat that has been going on between Israel and Iran for several weeks now. We've had drone attacks inside of Iran. We've had attacks on U.S. bases in Syria housing U.S. troops. And then Israel reportedly has taken out several Iranian drones in recent weeks that were heading towards Israel. So there's a lot of back and forth right now. Israel says this is being done by Iran, and Iran is saying this is being done by Israel. So it's hard to decipher what's really going on. Also, we had the situation a few weeks ago today, actually, on March, where Iran unleashed a volley of missiles against a U.S. base in Syria. And I mention this because that was the first time that Iran fired ballistic missiles from Iran itself into Syria to strike a U.S. base. We don't know how many of these missiles that were fired today came from Iran itself. Perhaps some were launched from Iraq or Syria. But this is a major escalation by all accounts. And when you look at the larger picture, folks, we've been talking a lot here on the newscast over the past few months about the ring of fire that surrounds Israel right now. If you look at Gaza to the south, Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah to the north, those various Shiite militias to the east in Syria and Iraq, and now Iran itself looking to get involved. You've got a ring of fire that surrounds Israel right now that is unlike anything that we've seen since Israel's founding in 1948. And we've been saying here on the newscast, keep a very close eye on the northern front. That is the big one to watch. Hezbollah is the big threat looming in southern Lebanon with some 150,000 rockets and missiles pointed at every inch of Israel. Israel knows this. Israel has been preparing for this for years. Remember, Operation Shield of the North was conducted in 2018, where Israel prepared for a potential strike against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Since then, there's been a lull in hostilities. Thank God. But now it looks like that ring of fire is starting to flare up again. And quite frankly, it is surrounding Israel. You've got Iran to the north, Syria, Iraq and Yemen to the east, and of course you've got Gaza and Lebanon to the south and west respectively, so we're keeping a very close eye on this. Folks, we live in Bible times. The chess pieces are moving on the board. A very precarious situation right now in the Middle East, which is why we encourage you to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell and join us here every day as watchmen and women on the wall for such a time as this. Keep Israel in your prayers right now. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray that God Almighty will intervene in the affairs of men right now. We need it. We need His intervention desperately in these turbulent times. One last note before we go. Tomorrow, Wednesday, March, we will have a live stream right here on the channel between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to bring your questions for our Q&A session, and we will be taking a deep dive into the war in Ukraine 1 year later. What's the latest? What should Christians be praying for right now? What's the biblical perspective? All that and more tomorrow during our live stream. Looking forward to seeing you there. Until then, God bless you, and remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone. Thanks for checking out the newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you'll go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new episodes every weekday.